Hello and welcome to Moscow, the capital of the world's largest country, home for 17 million of its citizens, and host to the second boulder and first speed World Cup of the season. There's history around every corner in Moscow, as well as iconic sights, from the Bolshoi Theatre to the vast and imposing Kremlin. Now it's time to find out which climbers will add their names to the city's sporting history. Yes, good morning and welcome to Russia, and what an action-packed day we've got for you. Boulder semi-finals in around 5 minutes time, then we've got the boulder finals tonight and the speed final sandwiched in the middle. A lot of action to come, but before any of that, here's how the qualifiers went down yesterday. World Cup number 2 of the season has brought us this week to Moscow, the capital of Russia and one of the most fascinating and historic cities in the world. Last week in Meiringen, there were some surprise casualties in the qualifying round, and it was no different in Moscow. The men's bouldering field is so incredibly strong that Manuel Cornu, Jan Hoyer and Jakob Schubert all failed to progress here, but one man who did, after a disappointing boulder season last year, was Sean McCall.
Sean, we've just seen you come down from boulder 5. Overall, pretty good round for you.
Yeah, I was happy. I did 4 out of the 5 boulders. Didn't make semis last comp. Still testing some things. Obviously, bouldering's gotten significantly harder. There was a huge drop-off in my results, specifically last year. I think it definitely came down to the training. I spent my time mostly in Vancouver, Canada, trying to train, and I think it really hindered me. I wasn't on the European-style boulders or even like the Japanese kind of like jumpy-style boulders, and I think I eventually got to the World Cup circuit, and I basically forgot how to rock climb. But I'm really excited because I'll most likely advance to the semifinals here.
Kokura Fuji will join Sean in semis, as will 7 other male members of Team Japan, including Tomoe Narasaki and Rei Sugimoto. Despite getting 8 men into the 20 semi-final spots, the Japanese team didn't have things all their own way, with Yuji Fujiwaki, Keito Watanabe and young all-rounder Yoshiyuki Ogata all missing out on the chance to take on Meiringen winner Yuri Kruder.
Yeah, you've just completed your qualifying round. How was it?
Pretty good. I'm happy to finish it.
And how has that win changed your mindset? Do you feel different here now that you're a World Cup winner?
I didn't change anything. It's just like, maybe one thing. And I really tried to enjoy climbing, and that's all.
Elsewhere, semi-final spots were claimed by the ever-strong Jongwon Chon, Czech veteran Martin Stranik, local hero and Moscow resident Alexei Rubtsov, and, looking incredibly strong and in form, Alex Kazanov.
Alex, we've just been doing the rounds of high fives and handshakes after an incredible qualifying round. What was that like for you?
I don't know, it's been amazing. After Meiringen, my self-confidence was kind of low. I didn't do that well there, but I knew my shape is good, especially after Quiff in England. And you know, number 4, which apparently I'm the second guy to do, but Gabriel Moroni just did it before me. So I thought, oh, I have to do it. So I don't know, I just did.
In the afternoon, it was the turn of the women to take to the Moscow stage, and, as seems to be the case at every, Chloe Collier, fresh from her 10th place last weekend in Meiringen.
Yeah, at the moment I'm feeling in a good shape, and I hope it will pay this weekend. Yes, I'm quite happy about the round, because I almost topped 4 boulder, and it was a quite hard round, and I think even more for the small girls.
Akiya Noguchi looked particularly impressive today, as she did in Switzerland a week ago. Here in Moscow, she topped all 5 boulders in just 6 attempts and topped her qualification group. Somehow, it's nearly 3 years since her last World Cup win, a run which doesn't look like it will last much longer. She'll face a tough challenge to win here though, not least from Stasha Geho, who had a near faultless round to qualify in 5th place.
The boulders today were really interesting. They had a lot of different styles. We had to climb a lot of powerful moves, also some tricky and balancing ones. But however, I'm really satisfied. I enjoyed a lot this time. I think a lot more than the qualities in Meiringen. I had fun, especially at the last boulder, which was a slab with some tricky slippery crimps, which half of them were double texture. So yeah, I slipped from the top like 2 times, but then at the last one, and last 30 seconds, I managed to hold it. I'm looking forward to really good boulders tomorrow as well.
And I'm delighted to say I've been joined by Chief Route Setter here in Moscow, Robert Lux. Robert, welcome.
Good morning.
We just quickly to let you know, we have 21 men in today's semi-final, by the way. So Gregor Vazonik, who you can see on the stage now, will climb on his own. We had a tie in the men's qualifying round, so Gregor's on his own. But Robert, just seeing him on men's one, but I've just seen you making micro adjustments across the stage.
Yeah, as always, last decisions in the morning, and hopefully it works out. Okay, this looks really good already. What do you do in the first boulder?
So the wall is steep here in Moscow, and men's one is no exception.
Yes, it's a bit more steeper than maybe now all the new walls in the World Cups, but diverse. I think it's really cool. Maybe the slabs a bit small, but.
So Gregor, back in his first semi-final since Mumbai of last year, finished 19th there. That was his first semi. Stuck in 21st. And yet, when you were making the micro adjustments, you said you were working till what, 3 o'clock last night?
Yes, I think so. I'm not sure, but yes, like this.
And then what, you're lying in bed and you think, oh, maybe actually we should move that. I mean, the holds you were making, the adjustments you were making were tiny.
Yes, we always discuss about all the decisions and all the boulders in the group, and then we decide more or less in the team if it's okay or not. I thought maybe the last move was a bit too easy and want to change it, but in the end it's like the same cause. Otherwise maybe it's too hard, and so it's out of the ranking, which is not so good.
So this men's boulder one, it's quite nice to look at it with just one climber on the stage. Talk us through it.
It's his second.
Okay,
It's the second World Cup semi-final.
It's also funny because there are a lot of
the last one, he made
unique holds in. I've never seen before.
If I remember correctly.
Kind of ball from Russia. I've never seen. Like not a typical hold. We tried with the first boulder to do it not as comfortable for the athletes as we do it maybe normally. It's a kind of, like we always say, strange boulder with strange body positions.
Why did you want it to be a bit harder than the first boulder can be?
I think it's not so easy for the athletes to come in and maybe we get a better result for this. Maybe then overall the boulders are not that hard, but it's not so comfortable to climb it. I like the idea that maybe it's not only about the smallest hole in the round, so it's also about the mind.
So Gregor had a few goes already. But, no top, playing the zone on his first attempt. Remember, new terminology for 2018 bouldering. What was called the bonus hold, now called the zone. And a change in emphasis as well. The number of tops is still the most important way to separate the climbers, but the next one is who got the most zones, of course. Previously it used to be who required the fewest attempts to get their tops. Now it's number of tops followed by number of zones, and then it comes down to attempts. So slight shift in emphasis and terminology. Just under 50 seconds left. Tricky climb on your own. He doesn't like the look of it.
Maybe a good decision to stop now.
Is it quite fit? That's a physical position to hold.
Yes.
Is the method correct that he's using?
Yes, in the beginning it looks really easy for him. I expect it's a bit hard, but we will see with the next athletes if it's that easy, how it looks. And then the top is to come on the ball and bring up the hook, then go with a fast move to the top.
So out next it will be Katarina Posch and Tilo Schrøtte of Norway. Thank you to Team Norway for their help with the pronunciation.
I think
I'm sure it's still miles off, but closer than it was.
First semi.
Yes.
Katarina Posch.
No, excuse me, Merring in 2017. Second set. But yeah,
welcome to
good to see Norway represented. Also seen him in some lead World Cups, ditto Katarina Posch. Also made the semi-final in Chongqing in 2017. Has actually never missed a lead semi-final in her World Cup career. Not a bad statistic. And women's one was one of the boulders I saw you studying just before you headed over.
Yeah, the women's boulder starts with a kind of 360 move in the beginning. You have to go through. And I wasn't sure about the top, but we will see.
We will see. I saw you moving a tiny screw-on hold. Was that something you were just thinking about walking into the venue? Maybe it could be moved, or something you discussed?
I think all the screw-ons makes always a big difference in some of the competition boulders, and for this stage there was not so much screw-ons, maybe than in some other competitions, but I tried to turn it around, but in this case I thought it's maybe too hard, but we will see. Okay, it's also a good try.
Yeah, Katarina Posch is only 23, but made a World Cup debut in 2010 in the lead, 2011 in the boulder. Been at it a while already. Let's have a look at Tilo and men's one. No joy so far. 5 minutes course hit for the semi-final. It's 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off, so tactics slightly different to the final. You might not have quite the same opportunity to rest. So if there's a boulder you're really not getting on with, a bit like Gregor on men's one, you might opt to head in behind the stage a bit earlier just to get an extra minute's rest. Of course, in the final, when the 6 climbers taking their turn, you almost inevitably get a long rest between boulders. Not the case in the semi. Tactics slightly different. You might have heard the shout from here. If you're just joining us, it's pretty early in mainland Europe, very early in Britain, especially for a Sunday morning. It's Charlie Bosco here, head route setter here in Moscow. Robert Lux alongside me. And a spectacular venue here in Moscow, and a very aesthetic wall. So a good job. And the wall here, it's I mentioned earlier, it's quite steep. We have the slab on the far right. We're going left to right today in the semi-final. Men's one, women's one on the far left, and we're heading over right. But generally quite a steep wall for you guys to work with.
Yes, it was. In the end, I don't care if it's deeper or not. It makes it maybe in some cases makes it a bit easier, in some cases makes it a bit harder. But I really like that the profiles, the separate profiles, stand for themselves, and you can set really cool lines here.
How much information are you given before you arrive about what holds you'll have, what the wall looks like?
We always get some pictures and a holds list where we can check what's on. But in the end, you see it when you arrive, and then you try as hard to pick out the best. But what is the best? The coolest holds for the semis and finals. And yes, I think it's a cool mix here. It's a lot of different brands, and also the new stuff from Russia. For me, it was really new, and so I really enjoyed the setting here.
15 seconds to go. Katarina Posch making not bad progress on women's one. This looks quite promising. She got the zone on her first go. And just to give you some idea, she was the volume that just appeared in the top of the screen had the top hold. So not too far off, but no tops as yet in the semi-final.
And Kai Harada on the first man route from Japan. On the second man route, from Slovenia.
So Franziska Sterrer, Austria on women's one. Out onto the mats, Kai Harada of Team Japan. At first glance, you might have thought with people like Yoshiyuki Ogata missing from the semi-final that yesterday wasn't Japan's best, but they still got 8 men into the 20 semi-finalists. Some really interesting names as well in the women's Japanese team in today's semi-final. Futaba Ito, you might remember from Innsbruck 2017, the Youth World Championships. I think there's high hopes for her, and with good reason. Ditto Saki Kikuchi, another name you might remember from Austria in September last year. Beginning their World Cup journey this season. So Franziska Sterrer, not her day in Meiringen a week ago, 75th there, but she was 12th in Munich in 2017 in a strong and an enormous field. An exciting young climber, well worth keeping an eye on. Having a good old battle with women's one. Haven't yet seen men's two. Here we go. With perfect timing, there's Gregor.
Yeah, this is our, maybe in this round it's more the physical problem, which he did really cool.
Is that the correct method? You got to jump. I mean, is there any?
Yes.
There's no possibility to go static. Well, maybe for the tallest climbers.
Or if you're stronger than us, or way stronger, and no, but I think it's a kind of jump to the top.
This is Kai Harada on men's one. You've got a pretty strong setting team here, quite diverse. Got Tomasz Olecki,
yes,
former World Cup winner, of course.
Yes, it's really cool to work with him once again. Cool guy and really good experience, and also some local setters from Russia.
How does the dynamic work normally? As the chief route setter, you're not really telling people what to do, are you? You just designate a boulder. What's your style?
I decide a bit which style should fit in which profile, and maybe I like also the visual effect. So I tell them please set maybe with one color or something like that, and they can choose the holes and stuff by themselves and set the moves by themselves. And I like to leave them the space to have their own ideas and their own way for setting and testing. And in the end, we go together in a group, and then maybe if there's a big discussion, then I'm as a chief make the last decision. But in the end, it's always a group decision, and that's what I really like.
So you like the aesthetics that every hold on each boulder is the same colour?
Yes.
No, I agree. I think it looks a mess when we get multicoloured boulders. I really like. One of the first thing you notice when you walk in the venue this morning is how clean the wall looks. Because of that, you can see it from there. That side profile, very clear which boulder is which.
Yeah.
Appearances matter. 1 minute left.
Okay.
I think that was as so often, that first attempt was probably the best, and again he opts for the extra rest rather than the extra attempt.
Yes, man number 2 is a really long problem. I think overall 10 moves, and it's one of the steepest profiles here on the wall. And yes, maybe you have one or two good tries in this. And
so 30 seconds left. Time for a top on either boulder, but both climbers will have to be quick. Franziska on the left, Team Austria. Kai Harada, Team Japan on the right. And no joy for either. Yeah, Franziska flashed the zone. Kai Harada got the zone on his third go. Just to confirm, earlier on we saw Thilo Schröter. We're about to see him again. He got the zone on his fifth go. There is Tomasz. We were just discussing him. Looks like he's had a hard week.
Yes, it's always hard work, and but in the end it was really funny with him.
On women Route 2.
No, we also work a lot together in Germany, so we know each other very well, and
On men, Route 1.
it's a good way to work.
And I don't think people always realise just how many hours you guys spend in the venue. What day did you arrive here? What day was the first setting day?
The first setting day was Monday morning, and then we start checking the holes and the wall, and then in this case we start with semi-finals because there were some holes missing, which we tried to waiting for, and then we had 1.5 days for the semis. And yes, yeah, it looked like only 8 problems, but always the big part is the testing and to find the right level.
Well, it's so important to get the level right.
Yes, yes.
And then what, the final Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday?
Yes, we start with the finals on Tuesday afternoon. Once again, 1.5 days for working on, and then we had 2 days left for both of the qualification rounds.
Lena Krasovskaya out, on women's 1. Nicola Kalla of Belgium, men's 1. So you were saying?
Maybe the qualification round was a bit easy for us to setting with the similar problems.
Yeah, yesterday in the qualifiers, in both the men's and women's, there were 3 boulders that were identical for groups A and B, which isn't always the case. But again, you were saying when we were chatting the other day, you like that.
If it's possible, I think if you have the chance,
if you have the right profile,
yeah, with big profiles and the right holes, then I think it's a cool idea. Makes it maybe a bit more the same for both groups.
The world championship Elena won in France. It was her first debut, so to say.
Yeah, so Katarina Posch, that was our first proper look at women's 1, another physical boulder.
With the jump in the middle to go left to the elephant. And yes, we start from left to right with the steep parts in the beginning and then the slab in the end.
See there, Elena Krasovskaya. Haven't seen it quite so much recently, but combined champion in Paris in 2016. You might remember she made the boulder final. She was 6th in the bouldering in Paris.
This looks good.
Yeah, this does look promising. Thilo Schroeter of Norway slapping up, and you could see he knew he'd missed that one. These round holds on men's 2 are quite unusual, with the kind of almost a pocket, but not quite.
Yes, it's I think it's a company from Russia. I've never seen before. It's really funny because I think normally all the route setters check the weapon and stuff quite a lot and searching for new holes, but I've seen this.
It looked like he went maybe just a bit too far actually on that one. So, Katja Posch.
Yeah, maybe the friction's a bit less than we have them normally on the typical brands from Europe, and so it maybe makes it also a bit strange for the athletes to climb on this kind of holes first time.
Does it make you nervous when you're watching the stream now?
A bit. It's always hard if you see the first athletes and you don't know if they have a good day or bad day, and there's still a lot climbers left, and
I remember
with this big field, it makes it, I think, once again a bit harder for us to separate them all. And you see the 20 best, they stay so close together from the level side, and yes, in the end, it's the little step between too hard and perfect. And
so Nicola Kalla went direct for the top. This is his first boulder at semi-final. He wasn't too far off on number 1. So 5 minutes begins again. Eric Lopez Mateos of Spain onto the mat. Katja Kadic of Slovenia out onto women's 1. It's Kai Harada men's 2 and Franziska Sterra women's 2. As I mentioned earlier, we're going left to right here in Moscow. Men's and women's 1 on the left, 4 on the right, and in ascending order left to right. So nice and easy to follow where the climbers are up to. Is that something you also do intentionally? Makes it easier to understand which climber is where? Or is it just how it worked out?
We normally discussed this before with the judges, and it makes it way easier for the athletes to run through the round, and also for the judges. And I think if it's no problem for us, we do it in this way, and then it's cool. Okay, there's a different beta in girls number 2.
Yeah, here's Katja number 1. A couple of finals for her last year, Vale and Mumbai. You might remember her absolutely crushing the qualifying round in Vale last year, and the semis as well, and made the final there. Ended up 5th, ditto Mumbai. So here's Gregor with the slightly unusual task in a semi-final of climbing the whole round on his own. No one next to him on women's 3. If you're just tuning in, 21 men in today's semi-final, 20 women. There was a tie in the men's, hence the 21.
Yeah, on this boulder you have to climb on these big blocks, which are not so easy to understand. I think you can do a lot of mistakes.
So women's 1, flexibility required. And the jump like that is the way.
Yes.
It looks an uncomfortable position to jump from when your legs are so far apart.
You can do it in both ways. Stay totally on the right with both feet and jump out, or do it like how she did. She did it. I think it's important to grab with the right hand back to the first volume and stop the swing.
So this is men's 3. These huge quarter of a pie volumes.
Once again, a good try.
Yeah, he's been close on both, Gregor.
Yeah.
Popular climber. I think a lot of people pleased to see him in a semi-final again. And this does look promising. Is this the method?
Cool. Oh,
nice and
yes.
steady.
Nice.
Nicely done. First top of the semi-final. And we just saw bottom left, Katja. I was watching Gregor. I'll confirm in a second if that was a top. Yes, it was for Katja. Got that on her second go, got the zone on her first go. So we see Franziska on women's 2 trying that method again. So you think she just needs to drop that? We just saw her disappear from the shot. She needs to drop that right hand and just stop the swing.
Right. Yes.
Big part, a big flat hand on the.
How you grab it? I think, but I think it's very important for this move to stop the whole swing which comes from the right side, and we figure out that maybe the best idea is to stop it. If you go back with the right hand on the volume.
So let's have a look. Will she figure it out this time? Jumps left. She's not slapping with the right hand.
Nope.
Can you catch it with the right foot?
I think it's harder because it's harder to control. Maybe you can, but I think the easiest way will be with the hand.
Let's a look at Kai Harada on men's 2. And this looks promising. Looks
cool.
Very promising indeed. Top for Kai.
I think it's not easy to do maybe a second or third good trying this.
Next up on women group 1, Melanie Santos, France.
So Melanie Sonneau of France, the 2012 world champion, onto the mats. Really good to have her back in the World Cups. We saw her in the semi-final in Meiringen a week ago. And she's here again today. So this is our first look at women's 3. Very, very steep section of wall. This was home to men's B4. Men's 4 yesterday.
Yes.
Alex Kazanov and Gabi Moroni
It's only
topped.
2 tops, yes. Yeah, the kind of wave, which is really steep in the beginning and then becomes a bit.
Ryuichi Murai, Japan on the right. Stage beginning to fill up here in Moscow. It's an amazing venue. We're in an enormous sports hall. The organisers have pulled out all the stops. It's the world's biggest bouncy castle. Been provided for the kids while mum and dad watch the bouldering. It's been a great event so far. So Melanie had all sorts of problems with injuries over the past few years. Somehow has never been on a World Cup podium. 3rd in the European Championships 2013, World Champion 2012, 17th last time out in Meiringen.
I think it's better to go straight with right hand out of the roof.
Climbers on the whole so far been sticking to your beater?
Yes, I think for this next move it's make it a bit easier if you change the left hand and push on the lower volume.
Thilo Schröter, Norway. This is men's 3. We just saw it topped by Gregor Vazonik.
A lot of big moves on these blocks.
And this is the last steep boulder, men's 4 and women's 4, both slabs. Just needs to do it in control. Nicely done. So it would seem from the 2 climbers we've seen on men's 3 that you're going to need to top that one. Is that the one you anticipated getting the most tops?
It's maybe a bit easier, but at least with 2 climbers on, you don't know if they have a good day on this boulder and then find out the beta really easy. We will see.
So men's 2, this looks promising. Kai Harada got it. Nicolas Collin trying his luck on it now. As I mentioned, these quite unusual rounded volumes. You can hear how hard he's fighting. That might have come through our microphones, and he gets it done. Second top of that boulder is Katarina Posch. We mentioned it briefly earlier, this particularly steep women's 3, the black volumes.
The jump. The starts, on the start you have to work a lot with your feet, with a lot of hooks and stuff to get out to the bonus, and then.
And that is top women's 1. Melanie Sonneau off to an extremely good start here in Moscow. Elena Krasovskaya. Women's 2. Haven't seen a top on that yet. And again, not stopping the swing. It looks, from this angle, it looks quite an obvious thing to do to try and get a right hand. Quite surprising they're not trying it.
Yes, but maybe it looks not that deep how it is. So I think that the swing. I think the swing is bigger than you expect before. So maybe that's a kind of.
Because I suppose you're also swinging out. You're not just going left.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, 15 seconds to go on the round. Ryuichi doesn't like that one. Let's have another look at his last attempt. Just went slightly past it. Can't see that one from where you launch. And again, Elena Krasovskaya, no joy. Women's 2. Berit Schweiger of Austria will be about to take the mat. Sergei Topishko of the Ukraine as well. So Gregor makes his way onto men's 4. First slab he's tackled. Barrett just trying to read the moves to these purple volumes. No observation in semi-finals, remember. Just walk out and do them cold. Attempt doesn't start till the feet leave the ground. So she's entitled to keep doing this, and now she's underway. Barrett underway on the women's 1. Plenty of semi-finals for her since 2014, but no final. Is today the day? Come with a strong team, the Austrians. They didn't have it all their own way. Jakob Schubert didn't make the semi-finals after a storming performance in Meiringen last week. But 3 women into today's semi-final for the Austrians. And this is the second one we've seen. Berit Schweiger. Excuse me, 4 Austrians. I saw Jessie Pilz a bit further down the order. 4 Austrian women into the semis. Franziska Sterre there on women's 3. This is the second one out. Kai Harada right hand side of your screen. Men's 3. We've seen that top twice already. You can hear Gamba Gamba coming from Team Japan. We'll be off to Tokyo again in June. First weekend of June. Sergey looking nice and controlled on men's 1. 10th for him last week in Meiringen.
Now I think it's really important to bring up the heel on the ball, because the next 2 holes are really, really small.
So you have to get set and do the move statically?
Yes, the first for sure, to go on a little crimp to the left, and then still the dynamic move to the top, but first you have to bring the body higher a bit, otherwise the top hole is maybe a bit too slopey.
So here's Gregor, the slab on the far right of this Moscow wall, men's 4.
Yeah, but here we work with the big volumes, and yes, this move, like the strange moves on this big volumes.
So there's no
not so easy to control the body position. There are some little screw-ons.
Oh, there are some screw-ons.
Yes, yes. Yes, I think it's not so easy to make the bottom section. It's hard to understand. And afterwards, there's a kind of dynamic move to stand up and get to the top. Maybe it's also not the hardest problem in the round, but hopefully not so easy to flash. Hopefully.
Certainly doesn't look that way. Sergei Topishko of the Ukraine on the right hand side of your screen. Berit Schweiger of Austria. Just having another look at women's 1. Conserving energy. This is Katja on women's 2. Let's see how she tries to move. Slightly taller climber, so a bit more comfortable with the legs spread like that. Again, just missing that slap with the right hand. "30 seconds left of this round. Sergey close on coordinated fall in there on 1, women's 1 and men's 1. Franziska Sterre, let's just confirm her result on number 3. Got the zone on her 3rd go. Kai Harada doesn't get men's 3 done. First man not to do that one. Only the 3rd man on the stage, of course. Katja trying to slap with both hands on the same hold. Can it be done that way?
Maybe, but I think it's way harder to go both hands to the elephant.
From South Korea. Sean McCall on men moves.
We tried
Melanie
we try another beta to grab the little screw on the with left and go foot forward.
from Japan.
This is also possible,
Nicolas from
but once again I think it's a harder version, and at least we are focused on the easiest ones.
That's Seol Sa we're looking at now of South Korea on women's one. Out on men's one is Sean McCall. Good to see him back in the semi-finals. Best place finish in 2017 of 18th for him in bouldering, believe it or not. Spoke to him yesterday, and you just saw that interview at the top of the program when we showed you the qualifying highlights. Sean, amusingly enough, said he'd sort of forgotten how to rock climb in winter 2016-17. He reckons he spent the winter training in Vancouver and he maybe didn't get enough practice on the competition style boulders, and maybe that was what cost him last season. A lot of people pleased to see him back in bouldering semi-finals. Always puts on a good show, and I'm sure he's remembered how to rock climb.
Yes.
He looked good yesterday. Had a few troubles with the slab right at the end, and it needed to get it done and did, but it just required him 6 attempts. In the end, it didn't cost him his place in the semi-finals, but that was probably the only slight black mark on yesterday's scorecard for Sean. So Seol Sa not too far off from women's one. Made every semi-final in 2017 without converting it to a final. 5th in Mumbai a couple of years ago. The first Mumbai World Cup was her best World Cup result, and she's off to a pretty good start in the semi-finals. I think she can get that one. It looks an awkward last few moves, moving the hands around. You could see her trying to swap the hands.
Yes, you have to turn around the left hand and then kind of undercling to get to the top, and the wall comes out once again.
Thilo Schroeter got men's 3 on his first go. That remains his only top. Gregor Vazonik topped men's 4. Just to bring you up to date, puts him in first place as it stands, the only man with 2 tops. First man out though, 20 more to come. Lena Krasovskaya should be going to the Youth Olympic Games in October in Buenos Aires. Just trying to figure out that women's 3. Thilo's got a minute and 30 seconds left of his second World Cup semi-final. Team Japan particularly vocal. We're about 50 meters from the wall, I'd say, maybe a bit less. So when it's coming through our headphones,
and there's still a lot of Japanese left back in the isolation, so they need a lot of.
Let's have a look at Seol Sa. She wasn't far off on women's 1 earlier on when we saw her. She was on that next purple triangular hold out to the right. This one that she's heading for now. So she's been here already. Just needs to convert it into a top.
Now it's important, yes, to bring up the right foot on the. Yes, cool.
Yep, third top of that boulder if she can get it done. Yes, she can. Kachikari, Melanie Sundo also got it done. Sean McCall, nothing yet on men's 1. It's not been topped yet, that boulder. Lena Krasovskaya.
Maybe for her it would be easier now to change the left hand as an undercling and go then to the zone. But I think she didn't figure out.
Nicolas Collin of Belgium fighting hard men's 3. This has been topped multiple times already. Twice, in fact, by Thilo and Gregor. Sean McCall, I'm pretty sure, is going to run out of time on men's 1. So no zone for Sean there on number 1.
Representing Belgium on first route for women, Austria on the second route for women, Katja Kadic, Slovenia on the third one, and Franziska Sterer, Austria on the fourth route of women's semi-final.
Cool.
So we got a close-up here of the 2 slabs. Franziska Sterer trying women's 4. There's last week's winner from Meiringen, Jerne Kruder. Chloe Collier on the left. We spoke to both of them in our highlights package for the qualifiers. If you weren't watching at the very start of the show, go back and check that out on YouTube. Both in good form, both optimistic for a big performance here.
Walking his way up the fourth man route, representing Japan.
Jerne this week has been perhaps surprisingly very focused on the competition. Sometimes hard to come down after a huge result like your first World Cup win, but all this week he seemed happy and in good spirits, but focused on following it up. He was a really popular winner last week. It seemed about time that he won a World Cup. It's great he finally got it done. Can he back it up?
Did it, man, did it.
And we're gonna put some updates about Sergei Pishka, representing Russia. I'd like to say that he's a very Hungary,
maybe you have to bring up the left hand a bit more first.
90.
This is Barrett on women's 2. Slightly shorter climber, but incredible flexibility to hold that position. Let's have a look how she'll take the jump on. She's going out with the left hand and trying to match it.
Maybe it works out for her.
Yeah, no top yet, no zone in fact on women's 2. There's Katja on women's 3. Kai Harada men's 4. Let's have a look at
Yes, now we have to stand
Franziska
up
Sterer.
and grab the crimp. For the last woman's problem, there's a also weird start with the low hand, and then you come to the right to the big volume.
Chloe Collier here on women's 1. Seen 3 tops already. You would suspect you need that. The only women's boulder as yet to be topped. Chloe's got a real fight, just trying to get out of that awkward position off the zone.
It looks like some girls have the problems to go out with the right hand to the little white one.
Eric on men's 3. Awkward boulder. Let's bear it on women's 2. Sergei Pishko. Men's 2.
There's a really hard first move to go on his shoulder and then cross it.
On men's 2.
Yes.
So Jerne. Could we see the first top of men's 1? He's got 48 seconds to do it.
Yeah, it's not so easy to control the ball.
Barrett just lining up another attempt at the jump on women's 2. And again trying to match. Chloe Collier, 25 seconds to find the top. Okay, Kai Harada's got 10 seconds left to get something out of men's 4. And there's the bolt on.
Yes, good.
Gets the zone. He's going to be timed out for anything else. Pretty sure he was too late. Yeah, he knows he was. It's a bit of a tough one for Kai. But 5 minutes flat in the semi-final.
Representing Korea, Melanie Sandos from France on the third
So that almost certainly won't be enough for Kai. He'll finish with 1 top. If he'd got it 3 seconds earlier, it would have been 2.
last route of semi-final round.
We'll keep you up to date with the scores as best we can. We've got 8 climbers on the mats at any one time. So it is often quite tricky to keep up with the scores and who's done what, but we'll do our best to keep you up to date. But yeah, Kai Harada just timed out on men's 4 there. Okay, we're going to say bye to Robert Lux in just a second. We were about to say goodbye to him, and then one of his compatriots, Yannick Floe, made his way out.
The youngster.
We'll keep him a bit longer. Futaba Ito is climbing for Team Japan on women's 1. She won the Youth B combined and Youth B Boulder in Innsbruck in 2017 and was 3rd in the Youth B Olympic combined format. Anyone who watched those championships very impressed with her. In the long list of Japanese youngsters to keep an eye on, she is very high. Now this is by far the best attempt we've seen so far on women's 2. It's Sol Sa. Be interesting to see the jump if we can. You get some idea of how overhanging this boulder is though. She's trying to kind of wrap that right leg around the round volume, but it's just so steep. Center of gravity just pulls you away from the wall. This is Elena Krasovskaya.
Nice position. I don't know if it's so easy to come out of this again, but we will see.
2014 and 2016, he won the World Cup.
So this is haven't had much of a look at women's form. We won't now. Ryoichi Murai.
Yes, you can see she
Attempt
turned around the left hand, so in this case it's way easier to
Amazing
go.
swing from Melanie Sunderland. She held it. She's looking top form. No top yet from any of the climbers on women's 3, but this is a very good effort. The hold that you can just see creeping into the shot is the top, that round one.
Also a unique Russian volume made by one of the local setters in the black boulder.
So here's Yannick.
2014 and 2016.
A minute and 48 seconds to find himself top here on the so far elusive men's 1. Semi-finals for him last year in Munich. Strong field that day. Very experienced youth competitor as well, and an experienced lead climber.
Yeah, I think in the women's lab it's really really not so easy maybe to control the body position on the big volume and find the right beta to work with the zone.
We can hear some cheers from the crowd, and that's why Sol Sa closing in on the top.
Yes, yes.
On women's 2. Nicely done, Sol Sa. Job done. First time we've seen that boulder topped. Just watch to the end of Yannick Floe's attempt. Futaba Ito, as I mentioned there on the left. The Japanese talent factory seems to be as effectively producing as ever.
Yeah, he finds the right
Ito
beta
really promising.
to turn around the hand again on the ball, but then maybe it's a bit too hard for him.
Top for Futaba Ito. She used up a few attempts to get there, but job done. And Lena Krasovskaya, she's going to run out of time here. You can hear the beeps there, 3, 2, 1, and that is time up. Robert, time up for you as well. you were saying you were adjusting the semi-finals and making micro decisions until 3 o'clock in the morning, so really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us in your sleep-deprived / nervous state, but great insight and thank you for your time.
Thank you too.
And Katja Katic on the fourth route, representing Slovenia.
That was Chief Route Setter here in Moscow, Robert Lux, just running us through the boulders. As I mentioned, they're the setters putting in a pretty full shift yesterday, 3 o'clock to bed, micro adjusting these semi-finals, and I think Robert's voice probably didn't have much longer in it.
The winner of the World Cup in the 2017.
We have got a couple of climbers who are eliminated in the qualifiers heading over later during the semi-finals, but for now he's stuck with me. So Lily Kiesgen, Team Germany, just seen her compatriot Yannick Floe on men's one. She's climbing on women's one. Some chap called Tomoa Narasaki is climbing on men's one. Incredibly enough, he's not won a World Cup since 2016 when he had that incredibly dominant season. Here's Chloe Collier, mentioned earlier, looking in great form and got herself in a bit of a tricky position on women's two.
Representing Slovenia, he has successfully performed in finals and semi-finals. He's a very experienced and very successful and good athlete down there.
И несмотря на то, что Ерней уже более 10 лет выступает на международных соревнованиях,
Yeah, again she tries. She's really needs to be standing on top of that volume her hands are on, so she's got a bit of work to do to free herself up, and as I mentioned, the wall there is particularly steep and overhanging. You can see it's so hard not to peel off the wall. Oh, there we go, perhaps not the most stylish of solution, but incredibly effective, and she can now line it up for the top. She's eyeing it up. You've got to go fast, but not too fast. Just short, it looked like there. Katja Katic, there she is on the women's 4. Eric on men's 4. Just heard a round of applause there for, I think, I'm just looking across the stage, I think that was Sergei Topishko topping number 3, let me confirm. Score still coming through. Let's have a look on this men's slab, number 4. For those of you just tuning in, Charlie Brosco here, live in Munich. It is 5 to 10 local time. And this is Sergei Topishko on men's 3. We saw a round of applause and I saw him go to collect his scorecard. And this is why. Just got himself set in a perfect position and claims a top on men's 3. So the tricky men's 4, which as it stands, Gregor Vazonik is the only climber to have topped. Kai Harada got very close. He actually topped the boulder, but he was timed out. Here's Lily Kiesgen on number 1. Tomoa Narasaki on men's 1. Stage full, 8 climbers currently on the stage. Lily Kiesgen, heartbreaking 21st in Meiringen, in a way the hardest position to finish. Just missed the semi-final. Had a consistent 2017 and semi-final in Tokyo. And makes the semi-final here in Moscow. Eric running out of time here, you suspect. Not claimed the zone yet, so with 3 seconds to go, I'm sure that is his target. And there it is, just short. You can see here the venue in Moscow beginning to fill up. We're expecting a big crowd for the finals tonight. 800 tickets already sold, I'm told, plus whoever arrives on the day. So big crowd expected tonight, and it's filling up nicely for the semi-finals. Speed climbing likely to be popular as well. We are in Russia after all. This is Saki Kikuchi on women's 1. Familiar figure of Martin Stranik on the right. Men's 1. I remember Adam Ondra describing Martin Stranik as really strong, which is high praise indeed. And he's looked it here in Moscow. It looked really good in the qualifiers. Qualified top half. If you are just tuning in, we've got 21 men due to a tie in today's men's semi-final. Just the normal 20 women. They're all gunning for 6 spots in the final. Saki Kikuchi. Last week in Meiringen, World Cup debut for her. Didn't quite make the semi-final. She had an excellent combined championships in Innsbruck in 2017. Youth World Championship, 5th in the combined and the Olympic combined. Another Japanese youngster well worth keeping an eye on. Martin Stranik just loses his foot in there. Men's 1.
Чем поразительно, насколько скалолазание многогранный спорт. Здесь необходимо не только умение держать самые плохие зацепки, которые, то есть многим кажется, что для того, чтобы...
So this is Ryuichi Murai and Melanie Sondo, Solsa, and women's 3.
Умение располагать свое тело, чувствовать свое тело за стене, умение координировать...
That's Sean McCall on men's 3. As yet, nothing for Sean, no zones on number 1 or 2. And even at this early stage of the semi-final, you fear that could come back to haunt him in terms of a hunt for a final place. Just to give you some context, Gregor Vazonik, who was the first climber out on the mats, he ended up with 2 tops and 4 zones. So Sean certainly can't match that. No zones for him on the first 2, but it's looking reasonably promising here on men's 3. Now we've seen quite a few climbers get here, and they just need to do exactly what Sean did. Just get themselves set, find the comfortable position, and claim the top. Martin Stranik. Men's 1. Saki Kikuchi there. Women's 1. No joy for her. Solsa, she had the first top of women's 2. And she was close there on women's 3. Ryuichi Murai fighting hard. Tenuous moves on that men's slab. It's a really unusual set of moves. Clambering up that huge blue volume. Robert Lux, chief route setter here in Moscow, who was with me earlier on, mentioned there are some bolt-on holds. You can see one just left of his right hand, just underneath his right little finger. But getting your foot on there is so difficult. That the slab is a steep slab. It's so hard to keep the hips close into the wall. Almost made that work. Don't think he'll be awarded the zone for that, but we'll check. So Shauna Coxey is climbing on women's 1, coming back from a bad finger injury. She only was able to crimp at full strength 2 weeks before Meiringen, so 3 weeks ago from today. You could see in Meiringen, not on top form, still good enough to make the final, which tells you a lot about what top form looks like. But not a perfect day for her in the qualifiers, hence her being down in 8th place, climbing 12th, but never ever bet against her. And the nature of these boulders, they're all quite volume based, might well suit her. See there's some strappy on the finger. Maybe the kind of set of boulders where a finger injury might not be as problematic as it could have been. Keita Watabe is climbing on men's 1. We've got 8 climbers on the stage. Shauna getting plenty of encouragement. No problems so far up to the zone. Shauna, this does look promising. Is she heading for a quick top on women's 1? She is. Great start to the semi-final for Shauna Coxey. Let's have another look. That was Jerne Kruder on men's 3. We could be about to see a top here on men's 2. Yes, we are. Tamura Narasaki, that familiar jumping style. So Chloe Collier, women's 3. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by her compatriot teammate Loic Timmermans.
Hello everyone.
A regular in the commentary box in the league climbing.
In the league climbing.
This is your bouldering commentating debut.
Yeah, first one actually, yeah. It's quite interesting.
More nerve-wracking than climbing? You seem quite relaxed.
Yeah, thanks.
Berit Schweiger on women's 4, Sergei Topishko men's 4. Loic, you've just been down the front of the stage before you got accosted and dragged over here.
Exactly.
First impressions of the boulders?
They look nice. It's really different from the first World Cup. It's more, I'd say, old school style. Even though the semi-finals are a bit more powerful, dynamic. It's really physical round, actually, I think. Chloe is actually now in the most physical boulder of the women's semi-final, I think. Just missing the really dynamic move there.
Yeah, she's been climbing really well recently. 10th in Meiringen.
She's in a really good shape now. I think competitions and especially bouldering, it's more about having a good round, finding the right badass solutions in the right amount of time. But her time will definitely come. And you can really see, especially in the male, like you can maybe win a World Cup and then not even being the semi-finals in the next World Cup. So I think when you're in shape, you just have to enjoy the rounds, enjoy climbing, and then you will just see what happens.
And you train a bit with Chloe, right?
Yeah, right.
How's she been over the winter?
Really, really strong. I mean, she's been training a lot of her weaknesses lately, and I think she's really in her best shape right now. So yeah, we've done really a lot of traveling. In Belgium, we don't have so many bouldering gyms with World Cup problems. So we travel a lot to Germany, to France, to Paris, and it really helps for competitions.
And you were over in Tokyo as well.
Yeah, that was just with Nico for the FISE event, maybe 10 days ago. That was a nice event, but a bit close to Meringen for most of the climbers, so not many European climbers came there.
Mia Krampel will be climbing on women's 1, Tomoaki Takata on men's 1. Just to bring you up to date with the scores, he was first out, Gregor Vozonik, but he is still the only man with 2 tops. It's always tricky to gauge the level and gauge where the semi-final's going. The first climber comes out, and yeah, you just don't know what's to come, but as it is, he's still in first place. Nobody else with 2 tops. We've seen Sean McCall come and go, just a 1 top for him, down in 9th place, so he won't make the final. Thilo Schröter, flash on men's 3, is currently putting him in 2nd place. So we've got climbers all the way down to Sean McCall in 9th, who have a top. Gregor the only man with 2. Below that, it's zones only from 10th downwards. It's men's 1, looking particularly problematic.
Takata looking really strong on this boulder, and I think we have the first top here.
2nd top, yeah, Keita Watabe got it. Okay. Heading over. But yeah, Keita got it first go.
2nd top, yeah.
But 2nd top of that boulder.
2nd Japanese climber.
Well, 40% of the male semi-finalists are Japanese. They are very well represented, and still with that and missing, as I mentioned earlier, some of their big guns. Yoshiyuki Ogata, the extremely promising all-rounder. As for Tarbarito, bottom left of your screen, Yannick Floey on men's 3. That was just to confirm, Tomoaki Takata, that was a flash for him on men's 1. Let's have a look at Yannick. That is the zone hole, but he's actually not too far off the top. It's
now it's just
quite an unusual boulder.
Yeah, unusual, exactly. A mantle on this one with a really small foothold there. A toe hook normally.
Yeah, he just needs to get himself set. Don't go from there. Just nice and controlled. That's the problem. If you lunge, the successful tops we've seen on that boulder, people have just done it nice and static. There's Martin Stranick. No problem on men's 2.
That's the more old school boulder, I would say, from the round. Really crimpy holes on volumes and just about finger strength and core, I would say. Well, this last boulder is more about a technical slab boulder.
Yeah, not been topped yet, women's 4. Men's 4, just the 1 from Gregor. As I mentioned earlier, it's still leading the way. Mia Krampel on women's 1. This does look promising. It seems if you can get yourself set on this second to last hold, you should be good. Should be.
Yeah, this is looking good.
I think she'll get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah, nicely done from Mia. 1 minute 40 left on the clock. Saki Kikuchi, as I mentioned, 5th in the Youth B Olympic combined and the combined, the traditional combined, if you like, in Innsbruck last year. This boulder, I think, probably a bit trickier for smaller climbers. It's a big gap between the 2 parts where you want your feet, and then it just makes the jump that bit further.
Yeah, you really don't want to lose speed there.
Getting frustrated. My apologies, I thought Sean had finished his rotation.
Not yet.
He's on men's 4, so he could move himself up. Yannick, Loic, you've been taking part in bouldering this year. How have you found the boulder experience versus the lead one?
I've done the master events in the Quiff and the Studio Block before, which were different rounds of World Cup rounds, and where you actually have to climb a lot for as a qualifiers. And in the World Cups, it was really different experience, but I really liked it, and it's especially nice to do some different climbing and really tough things before the lead season starts. So I didn't have really results goals or anything, but it was a really nice experience, definitely.
Let's have a quick look. Yannick Floyd, no, he's out of time, he knew it. What's been the biggest challenge? Is it the route reading?
I think
more
it's
complex movements.
Yeah, and to be really have a complete, physical, you have to be really complete. You have to be able to read the boulders, of course. You have to be really strong in your fingers, really dynamic, really powerful. So that's the real challenge, I think.
When will we see you in some Speed World Cups?
I was planning to participate here, but I actually hurt my side abs somewhere in the earlier this week, so that's why I didn't have my best run either, and so I decided to not do the speed here, but I will do some speed later in the year.
Looking forward to it. So that is Jessie Pilz, vastly successful lead climber, bottom left, another very strong member of Team Austria. There she is. I was actually on the same flight up from Vienna to Moscow with Team Austria, and I think they brought 19 athletes
from Austria. 19
from Austria, yeah. Big,
wow.
Strong team.
Big team.
We've mentioned it lots, but it is a big advantage for them. They've got the most extraordinary facility in Innsbruck, and it's certainly beginning to pay off. 4 women into today's semi-final, and over the next year or two, with a combination of amazing facilities, a strong, experienced team, good coaches, Austria really gunning for some Olympic medals, but let's not get carried away. First things first, Jessie Pilz, women's 1 in Moscow. There's a big cheer from the crowd. I'm just looking across the stage. I think that could have been Shauna Coxey on women's 2. It was.
Yeah, I think you made a nice move there. She did a more the dynamic version by jumping on this really big hold.
So we saw Chloe on here just
she
battling, trying to figure out how to get on top of that volume, and it looks like Shauna's having much the same thought process.
Exactly.
So she's heading up for the zone. She'll go left first. There we go. Nice and steady. Of course, she had a shoulder injury before last season, finger injury this year, shoulder last year. But she looks in pretty good form.
Top from Samoa.
Yeah, so does Samoa Narasaki.
Still one dynamic move to go for the last move.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You've got to go quick, but not too quick.
Come on.
Don't overshoot it. And it looked like that right foot maybe just, if it didn't slip, it just wasn't quite perfect. Let's have another look at the jump. This was earlier on in Shauna's attempt.
Oh, that was nice.
Really nicely done. The route setters were saying, actually,
I think her shoulder is strong now.
Yeah, I think so.
I can say so.
The route setters were saying you want to try and stop that swing with a slap with the right hand.
Okay.
But clearly can be done without.
That. Chloe on the slab here. She's really climbing well, I think.
Yeah, this would
one
be
move to go.
This would be the first top of
and
women's 4.
There she goes. Nice.
Job done, Chloe Collier. I was going to say,
good job, Chloe.
Don't slap it too much. Just make sure you get the top and then go crazy. So first top of women's 4. So all the women's boulders except for number 3 have now been topped, and all of the men's boulders have been topped. So the route setters so far getting the level pretty spot on.
Yep.
That's a minute to go. Jessie Pilz pulling back on for another attempt on women's 1. It's a tough start for the women.
Yeah.
It's not seen that many tops. 6 so far out of 14 climbers.
I also feel the boulders here in Moscow are a bit longer than usual.
Yeah, there's a lot of moves.
A lot of moves, yeah.
Particularly this one. There's actually not that many volumes, but you move around so much on them.
Pretty exhausting, and then you only have 5 minutes of rest behind the wall, and then you have another long boulder. And it's pretty hot there. You can also see all the climbers are pretty sweaty.
Jessie, I'm pretty sure is going to run out of time here, unless she can pull something truly spectacular out of the bag. She can't. 5 seconds left. So coming onto the stage now, it will be Stasha Gale. Kokora Fuji. As we pan across. So stage full once again here. Just to update you on the scores. Keep an eye on the top left of your screen, we'll see the results. There we go. Solsar leading the way, 2 tops, the only woman with 2 tops so far. It's tight at the top. Ditto in the men's competition. Gregor Vazonik climbed first, and he has about a 2-hour wait to watch whether it's enough, but he still leads the way. He's got 2 tops, 4 zones. No one else has got all the zones in the men's competition. Jene Kruder, his compatriot, winner in Meiringen, currently sitting in 2nd place. 2 tops, 3 zones for him. Tomoa Narasaki hasn't completed his round yet, but 2 tops and 2 zones for him. Looking dangerous. If he can get number 4 done, Tomoa, he will move into 1st place as it stands. You can see it there, top left of your screen. Slovenia 1 and 2. Is Stasha 3.5 minutes for her to get women's 1 done. She's looked in superb form in Meiringen.
Yeah, she looked really in a great shape last week. She didn't had a quite a good round in the semis, so I think she's hoping for a better round here.
Yeah, Taisei Ishimatsu, excuse me, I called him Kokora Fuji earlier. Taisei Ishimatsu on men's 1. That's Martin Stranik on the right, men's 3. Seen quite a few tops, that one. Women's 3, certainly not. No top yet.
I think we will see a top soon.
I think we will, yeah. We've Sol Sa got incredibly close.
Yeah.
Futaba Ito wasn't a million miles off. But again, possibly a boulder slightly trickier for the shorter climber. There is Futaba Ito. Yannick Floey on the right, Team Germany. They didn't have the best of days yesterday, the German men. No David Fernenberg, no Jan Hoyer in the semi-finals today. Men's 4, as yet, proving pretty elusive. 2 tops so far for the Slovenians, Jene Kruder and Gregor Vazonik. Just to let you know, Sean McCall didn't get that one done.
And another top of the slab, women's slab.
Yes, 2nd top of number 4, Chloe Collier, got it done. She's currently sitting in 2nd place, Chloe Collier.
Good news.
Yeah, just the 1 top, but she got all 4 zones.
And zones are really important this year.
Solsa is currently leading the way in the women's standings. 2 tops for her. She's the only woman with 2 tops. And as we mentioned, we haven't seen the top yet of women's 3, but it looks doable.
Definitely.
As we get deeper into the round. Remember, the climbers coming in reverse order. So the theory is that the strongest climbers come out last. It doesn't always prove to be the case. Certainly not when Shauna Cox is climbing 12th. But the theory is we'll get the stronger climbers later on. I think it'll see a top women's 3. So here's Stasha in the women in the semi-final in Meiringen last week. You could see in her mind she just lost concentration, lost focus a bit, and it cost her. She ended up 14th, joint 14th with world champion Petra Klingler. If she can get her head right, Stasha, this week, she's certainly got the horsepower.
Yeah. And another crazy pita here. And it's working. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Mia Krampel doing that move statically. Well, I suppose if you've got the power, why not use it? But it's interestingly enough, we haven't seen that done the way that the route setters think is the easiest way.
Yeah.
Which is to jump with the left hand, stop it with the right, and then match. Pretty sure she'll be awarded a zone there, Mia Krampel. That was Saki Kikuchi getting close on women's 3.
Yeah, that was also interesting, using the side of the wall there. Looks like the right pita to do.
Martin Stranik is going to be timed out here.
Yeah.
No joy for him. Really good to see him back at the World Cups though, and doing well. Had a really good 2016. You might remember a few big results for him back then. Second in Meiringen, being the standout. So, out onto the mats. Petra Klingler, the world champion. I mentioned her. She was joint 14th in Meiringen last week with Stasha, who she's just been on women's one. Couldn't get it done. Stasha did get the zone though. I don't think you're going to need to top all the boulders to make the final. So, the zone could well be enough, but it puts a bit of pressure on Stasha.
Yeah.
It's been topped 6 times, that boulder. Pressure on to get some more done. Now we have Kokoro Fuji. He's on to men's 2. Particularly physical boulder. Melanie Sondo, who's already finished her round, just walks past our box. 5th place for her as it stands, 1 top. That was on boulder 1. You suspect with the calibre of climbers still to come, or midway through their round, that probably won't be enough for a place in the final, but good to have her back in the World Cups, as I mentioned earlier. Lots of injury problems over the last 4 or 5 years. Really good to see her on the world stage. Jessie Piltz, fairly spectacular fall, no lack of commitment. And this is Shauna Coxey, women's 3. I think we could well see a top here, yeah.
Nice. She went for the dynamic way there.
That's the last hole she's heading for. You can see it now, top. And a boulder which has previously looked very, very difficult, if not impossible, is cruised by Shauna Coxey.
Exactly.
Well, if this is her on not top form, then watch out. She's also gained herself an extra 3 minutes rest. Let's just have a look. This was Petra Klingler, I believe.
No, Japanese top there.
Ah,
right,
yeah.
And that's Rei Sugimoto?
Yeah, Rei Sugimoto, comparative veteran by Japanese standards. But yeah, Shauna gained herself a bit of extra rest. Maybe not quite so useful. It's the slab at the end, but it's another 3 minutes to compose yourself and clear your mind. And
yeah, that can really make a difference, actually. When you only have 5 minutes of rest between boulders, you only have time to not even recover. Just take off your shoes and then maybe drink some water, put them on again, and then it's back in the game.
I'm sure Shauna will have done the special slow walk past the slab as well, just to have a good look at it, and she'll know what's awaiting her.
That's why you also need some endurance, especially here in Muscat. The boulders are pretty long. If you don't do the boulder really fast, then you don't really have time to recover. So if you don't have some endurance, you might be a bit pumped by the end of the round.
This looks promising.
Nice up 2 here.
Yeah.
Nice work with the 2 hooks.
Keita Watabe gets it done on men's 3. This is Petra Klingler. Disappointed, I think, last week in Meiringen, came into the season in good form. Another climber who's had just injury after injury. Nothing too catastrophic, but just niggle after niggle. Came into the season in good form, was hoping to win her whole home World Cup, or at least feature in the final, but no joy there. Yeah, she has on women's 1. Slightly awkward position she's got in. But if she can rectify it, that's the second last hold just above her.
Nice.
Obviously no problem with her shoulder either, locks it out. And we've seen the climbers, once they can match that hold she's got her right hand on, they tend to get the job done.
Come on.
But it's such an awkward position to hold. This does look promising for Petra.
Yes.
Nicely done. She
Good
had to fight for that one.
Yeah, she had to fight.
Let's have a look. I think we're about to see a replay of men's 2. We are.
Kokoro.
No problem for him. So he didn't get that one done with 20 seconds to go. That was the live clock with the old replay. So he had a bit more time in hand than it looked like. Lily Kiesgen. She's going to run out of time here. She doesn't yet have the zone according to our scores. And she's not going to get the zone, sadly. So another 5 minutes begins. 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off, as ever in the semi-final. Charlie Bosco here with Loic Timmermans. Got substituted in. He was just enjoying watching the semi-final here in Moscow down at the front. Got hauled in to come and give us his opinion. Always appreciated. Alex Kazanov on the right there. Another man who's familiar with the commentator headsets. But great to see him climbing so well. He looked superb in the qualifiers yesterday.
Yeah, especially from the start of the year. He was in the attending the quiff earlier this year, and he was really battling in the finals against Kokoro Fuji. He could have win actually the competition. So I was really excited to see him in Meiringen, where he didn't have such a good round in the qualifiers. So it's good to see him in the semi-finals here. Hopefully he can have a good run.
There's Miho Nanaka won a week ago in Meiringen.
Yep.
Looking on top form. Yeah, as you mentioned, Alex is quite open about the fact when you chat to him, he knows he's got the horsepower, but he just needs to sort out his head. When his head's in the right place, like it was at the quiff, and like it seems to be here, do not bet against him making a final, because he's certainly got the power.
For sure.
Plenty of encouragement for Miho Nanaka. What a statement this would be if she could just stroll out and get #1 done after a win last week. Second place in the overall in the World Cups in 2016. Could she get it done this year? This would be a nice way to start the semi-finals of World Cup #2, lining it up. She won't miss this.
All in control, nice.
Yeah, checks with the judges. Pretty perfect start for Miho. Just confirm which attempt that was.
I think it was a flash now.
Pretty sure it was, yeah. Yeah, flash from Miho. She was on the boulder a long time, but it was first attempt. There's Mia Krampel wearing 185 down the front. On the left on women's 3, which we saw Shauna Coxey. I don't think I exaggerate when I say she strolled up women's 3.
She did.
Got it done first go. So Shauna shifting up the order already. 2 tops for her, and she hasn't even attempted the 4th boulder. You can see the scores live on the IFSC website, but just to bring you up to date, we now have 3 women with 2 tops. Solsa, she's leading the way. Shauna Coxey also with 2 tops, not finished her rotation yet. And Futaba Ito in 3rd place, also with 2 tops. Making up the rest of the provisional top 6, Chloe Collier, Katja Kadik and Mia Krampel. You can see it there, top left of your screen.
Wow. Nice fight from Takata here. And a really nice stop.
And Stasher on women's 2. I mentioned earlier she didn't get #1 done and perhaps put herself under a bit of pressure with that. Again, then interestingly not spotting that slap with the right hand. From here it looks obvious, but I mentioned Robert Lux was saying earlier, because the wall is so steep, you're not only swinging left, you're swinging out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nice. Nice swing.
So all the boulders topped for the women, and ditto the men.
Looking strong here, Mia.
Perhaps just running out of juice a bit.
Yeah, and 1 minute
round.
left is, yeah.
So here's Alex. This boulder's been topped 3 times. All Japanese climbers, Rei Sugimoto, Tomoaki Takata and Keita Watabe. Two of those climbers, Keita and Tomoaki, got it first go, and Rei got it second go. So maybe one of those boulders we either get it done quickly or not at all. That was Teisei Ishimatsu on men's 2, and Stasha flying left on women's 2.
Going for the really dynamic way.
Yeah, and you can see Stasha again getting a bit frustrated. Just needs to remember that two quick tops might be enough, you never know, in the women's.
And the 2 last boulders are really doable. So
they are doable, yeah.
Keep going.
Got the zone on the first the first boulder. New 5-minute rotation. Alexei Rubtsov is
and
out
the crowd
onto the stage.
is happy.
Yeah, lives here in Moscow, has a climbing gym here. Alexei Rubtsov and Yanya Garmbret out. There's an interesting article, interview with Alexei on the Innsbruck 2018 website.
Yeah, it is.
He's never short of an opinion or two. Some pretty interesting takes on the world of climbing and bouldering from Alexei.
Yeah.
He's quite private about how he goes about his training and
Yeah,
what he does, but
he's
it certainly
saying
works.
the European coaches are doing it wrong, and he's saying he's right, but he doesn't say what he's doing, so we don't know. But yeah, at least he's speaking out.
Well, whatever the European coaches are doing with Yanya Garmbret, it seems to work. They've got pretty good raw materials, it has to be said.
Yeah.
I was about to say she's looking in good form. She's never really not looked in good form. And there you go. Gets women's one done with a minimum of fuss. Yanya Garmbret, she's only missed 3 podiums in her World Cup climbing career, which is now 3 years old. So when you say she's looking strong, it's a fairly obvious thing to say, but true. As yet, no big injuries from Yanya down the years. Maybe when they start to come, as time goes by, we might see that record of finals and podiums begin to end, but as it stands, she's looking superb. So Petra Klingler, plenty of time to figure out this women's 2. This is Jessie Pilz on women's 3, controlling the swing nicely. She's using the arête on the side of that boulder, and I think she'll get this done. And there it is.
Nice.
Second top of that boulder. Shauna Coxey got it done first time, and Jessie Pilz gets it done now. Let's have another look. This was her from side on.
Nice swing.
Yeah, once she nailed that, it was job done. Here is Alexei. So that was a flash for Jessie Pilz on number 3, got it done first time. As we mentioned, Alexei Rubtsov, yeah, he had some interesting takes, gets the zone. He was advocating getting rid of zones, wasn't he? And just saying tops or nothing. He could be about to claim a top here.
Come on. Nice.
There it is. Crowd enjoyed that one. Yeah, he was advocating we don't have zone holds, and he said you can either do the boulder or you can't, but the climbers have to be separated somehow. It's easy to say. I'm not sure I agree with that one, but as I say, he's never short of an opinion, and we like that. Rei Segumoto. Top for him as well. We're at that stage of the semi-final where the tops come quite thick and fast.
Maybe it's more about a mental game to be focused on the tops, but I think if you don't want to have a lot of tires, then you really need to have some bonus holes. Well, zones, I mean.
It's okay. That's
Still
gonna
getting
happen
used to it.
That'll happen for another couple of events, I suspect. Yeah, the climbers have to be separated somehow. I don't disagree with his theory that you can either do the boulder or you can't, but how do you select the winner if everyone does them? So it's certainly an interesting discussion.
Imagine in the lead, only the top counts.
Well, there is an old English saying, there's only really 2 grades, those you can do and those you can't.
Okay.
It doesn't really work for competition climbing, of course, when you need to select 20 semi-finalists and 6 finalists and the winner, but old school thinking from Alexei Rubtsov. So Petra, a bit like we saw with Chloe Collier, just trying to fight, trying to figure out how to stand on that blue volume.
You really have to think out of the box here for this boulder if you want to. Come on, come on. Can really see how tired they are after this boulder. Chloe had the same attitude after. She was really exhausted, I think. And she actually jumped for the first swim.
This is Kokora Fuji. You'd expect him to have got number 3 done, but he hasn't. Shauna Coxey is so far not got number 4 done, and she's not going to get it done either. Her 2 tops earlier on could well be enough. Early days, but she'll have to watch I think a third top there on women's number 4 would have sealed the deal for Shauna. She may be okay, currently sitting second place, 2 tops, 3 zones. The 2 tops she got first time. Fanny Gibert out onto the stage. Gabriele Moroni looked in wonderful form yesterday in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Him and Alex Kazanov, the only people to get done. Men's, I think was it B4, particularly steep one where women's 3 is today.
Yep. Yep. True. That was a long boulder.
It was a long boulder.
Lots of moves.
Just goes to show the effect psychology can have though, because when I was chatting to Alex, he said he just walked out and thought, oh, I can do this.
Okay.
He doesn't know how many tops it has or hasn't had.
True.
But it just goes to show the way that you feel when you first walk up to a boulder can really affect your performance.
Yeah.
Only 2 people got it done, but one of them walked out and just knew straight away he was going to do it. So if you could somehow channel that, teach yourself to think a certain way.
Fanny is going for a different beta here, going by the left. Ali Fanny.
Yeah, Fanny Gibert, French national champion. Finalist last week in Meiringen, 5th place for her. Not struggling, Gabriele Moroni not struggling with men's 1. Fanny, it's possibly the smoothest descent we've seen of M1.
Yeah.
Sorry, women's 1.
Possibly.
Nicely done. Extra time gained for her. This is a bit of a close-up view. Never really looked taxed on that boulder. So this is Miho Nanaka, last week's winner in Meiringen. Easy top for her on women's 1 as well. A bit like Fanny, a pretty smooth ascent of that boulder, and she's on to number 2.
I think we only saw Solsa topping that boulder. And she's still leading, I think.
Yep. Yeah, women's 2, Solsa the only top. Got its second go. Stasha has to top this. Women's 3, as it stands, you can get into the women's top 6 with 1 top, but I don't suspect that will be the case by the end of the semi-final.
Yeah.
Touch and go. Either way, Stasha needs it because women's 4 has not been getting many ascents.
I think 2 is enough for the women.
Yeah, I think 2 will get you in.
Yeah.
But Stasha currently with no tops really needs number 3. You can see the black tape there separating the 2 boulders. That denotes that the climber can't put their foot or any part of their body beyond that black bit of tape. It's just to separate men's 3 and women's 3. Stasha just with 1 minute 45 left just needs to get ahead in the right place. She can do this boulder. See there, top left of your screen, Melanie Sondo, I mentioned earlier, she was sitting in the provisional top 6, not enough sadly. Saki Kikuchi a bit lower down. And we can see there, sitting on the mat, Stasha currently tied in 14th, just where she finished in Meiringen. This is Alex Kazanov, number 2. Pretty straightforward, physical boulder. Something you'd imagine he'd get on with. He just needs to be accurate with this move. Perfect accuracy from Alex. Now he's lining up the top. It's a long way.
Yes.
No problem. Gets it done. Yeah, it's a boulder that plays to his strengths. And he was really accurate with that second to last move. There's a real sweet spot on those volumes. Tamaaki Takata. Team Japan on men's 4. Still just seen the 3 tops. Men's 4. Tomoe Narasaki got it done earlier on.
Oh, and a top on women's 2.
Yeah, Miho Nanaka. First World Cup winner of 2018 in the women's competition. She's claimed top there.
And Stasha got through the dynamic move. Looking for her first top here.
Yeah, really needs this Stasha.
Come on.
Leads with the left hand.
Yeah.
Holds the swing.
9 seconds left.
Yeah, you'd imagine she'll get this done. She's got plenty of time. There we go. Plenty's a relative term. She had enough time.
She's happy.
Gets it done. Let's have another look at the jump. Held it that time. So we're on to our final set of climbers. Actually, Akia Noguchi is onto the mat, and Jongwon Chon as well. Multiple winners of the overall World Cup title, both. 2 for Jongwon, 4 for Akio. A bit like with Janja Garnbret, when I say Akia Noguchi looked super strong yesterday, probably shouldn't come as much of a surprise, but she does look in particularly good form this year. Nearly 3 years since her last World Cup win. Surely that run is going to end soon.
Yeah.
This is Janja, number 2. And again, the method that the route setters feel is best, not being used. She gets the job done. Now this is the bit where you... Well, I was about to say it gets a bit awkward. Not for Janja.
Not really. So that was the last dynamic move of the boulder, which she did easily.
So she's cruising through the semi-final. Jongwon Chon, ditto, men's 1. Looked like he swung on that top hold. I'm pretty sure they'll award it to him, but
yeah, no, it's okay.
Ditto Akio. So, scores-wise, Tomoe Narasaki is leading the way in the men's competition, the only man with 3 tops. And as it stands, the route setter's done a cracking job. 2 tops to get in the top 6. And everyone with 1 top or less is currently out of the top 6. Yeah, Tomoe Narasaki leading the way. 3 tops for him, 2 tops for Gregor Vazonik, Yene Kruder, Keita Watabe, Tomoaki Takata and Rei Sugimoto. Thilo Schröter down in 7th. Nicola Connor, Martin Stranik and Kai Harada make up the rest of the top 10 at this stage in the semi-final. See Petra Klingler there and Rei Sugimoto on the right of your screen. Men's 3. Beginning to see quite a few tops at men's 3. It's had 6, 7, 8 so far. 8 tops. Sean McCall got it done. Sean currently sitting down in 15th place, can only move down now though his rotation is done.
I think it's a really good round. Everyone can top a bit of everything. You don't really need to top a boulder. So it really allows you to make some mistakes and then do some other boulders. So yeah, I think it's a good round.
Yeah, nice round so far. No women with more than 2 tops as it stands. Solsa is currently leading the way, and Petra does really well to hold that swing. She's got 1 top. She got the first boulder.
Yeah, so everything is still possible. Come on.
Yeah, and then this next move looks to be the last really hard move on the boulder. Yeah. She gets it done. I'm pretty sure if she can get her feet onto the particularly steep wall, she'll get the job done, and she does. Didn't look like the most comfortable finishing position, but they all count. Now Alexei Rubtsov was on men's 2, not this time. So this was Petra on the swing, so she'll go left then right. Yeah, same method we saw from Stasha and same outcome. There is Alexei, as I mentioned. Never short of an opinion. But is it going to work on men's 2? The crowd would love to see him in the final, so would we. Pretty much the definition of a fighter. Rei Sugimoto not getting on with this men's 3, as I mentioned earlier. It's had 8 tops already. Jessie Piltz on the right hand side of your screen, she's on women's 4. That's a frustrated looking Kokora Fuji. Yeah. He really needs this Kokoro. He's currently down in 17th.
In 14 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Kokoro in the final here. Bad day for him. Got number 2 done, but that was his only success. No other zones. Just one top, one zone for Kokoro. So Stasha comes out under pressure. Currently sitting in 13th place. The top would move her into the top 6. We won't do the exact maths, it would stick her in the provisional final for now. So we're done with Boulder 1. And it ended up on the women's side, getting 11 tops. Slightly fewer on the men's side. 6 tops on the men's side for Boulder 1. Fanny Gibert and Gabrielle Moroni climbing on women's 2, men's 2. You can see far right of your screen around the green volumes is Stasha gunning for a place in the final. Close up of Fanny starting women's 2. She looked really in control on women's 1. Now she's just got to find a way to nail this swing. Gabriele Moroni.
Yeah, looking strong on this boulder.
Yeah, he was 27th in Meiringen. People were expecting a bit more from him and really delivered here in Moscow, and that's a pretty perfect shot.
Really in control. Nice.
So just needs to be nice and controlled on this move. It's a powerful move, but you've got to be accurate and get your timing right as well. That's how you do it.
Come on, one more.
It's a good hold, the top one, but he's got to get
nice.
there. Nicely done, he does. 3 Boulder World Cup podiums for him. Can he make it into another final? Alex Kazanov walking off with 3 minutes to go. We didn't see it, but that must have been a top from him. I'll confirm the number of attempts. Comes through. Flash for Alex Kazanov, number 3, puts him into 5th place. Only Tomoe Narasaki has 3 tops, and Alex currently has 2, and he's not attempted boulder number 4. Could put himself in a very, very strong position. Taisuya Shimatsu, men's 4. Top left of your screen, results as they stand. Sol Sashi had a great semi-final. Ditto Shauna Coxey. Couldn't get that last slab done, Shauna, but she'll be nervously waiting and watching, but could well be enough. Currently sitting in 2nd place. And a lot of the climbers still to come, still to complete their rotation. Miho Nanaka, Petra Klingler, and Janja Garnbret already in the top 6. So you suspect Shauna might well have done just about enough. 2 flashes, boulders 1 and 3 in the zone on number 2. Tomoe Narasaki leading the way in the men's competition. Gregor Vazonik climbed first. He's had a long old wait, and I think as well he might just have done enough to come in place in the final. Highest placed European man as it stands. So Fanny Gibert getting plenty of encouragement. And this does look promising. Once climbers have got here, they've more often than not got the job done.
Nice.
Smoothly done.
Happy with that one too.
Yeah, great start to the semi-final. You might remember in Meiringen there was a bit of controversy with Fanny Gibert. She had a bit of a nervous wait at the end of the semi-final while the Austrian team appealed a decision not to award Jessie Pilz a top.
Yeah.
It was a reasonably clear-cut decision, but when I saw Fanny Gibert just after the semi-final, she still looked fairly nervous, waiting for the outcome.
Can imagine, yeah.
And, but got there. So let's just have a look where that puts Fanny Gibert. So still 7th.
Still 2 boulders to go, so.
Yeah, but attempts the only reason she's not in the provisional top 6. And Stasha, I'm pretty sure, is not going to get anything out of this boulder. And she's not going to get the final. And she'll be a bit disappointed with that one. Second week running where the qualifiers have gone great and the semi-final really hasn't. So our last climbers on the second boulders, it's Akio Noguchi women's 2, Jongwon Chon men's 2.
And Yanya on the pretty physical boulder of the women's.
Yeah,
pretty sure she can cruise it.
I'm pretty sure she can, yeah.
Fits her style.
She'll be the first climber with 3 tops if she can manage it. Petra Klingler there on number 4. Currently in 4th place, again, could become the first climber with 3 tops in the women's side. That's Rei Sugimoto on men's 4. Currently in 8th place, could move up to 2nd, maybe even 1st. If we can get this boulder done. It's not seen a lot of tops though, still just 3. Interestingly enough, the 3 men who've topped boulder number 4 are the top 3 in the rankings. I think that's it. You might be able to hear Alexei Rubsov getting a lot of encouragement from Leo, our venue MC. Jongwon Chon on a boulder you think will suit his style, and certainly does.
Yeah.
Almost cleared the top of the wall there. Just watch that camera. 3.5 minutes extra rest for him.
Yanya also cruised.
Yeah.
Third boulder. We'll see a replay maybe later.
We're looking side on at the wall from our position here, as you say. Just saw Yanya Garnbrett dropping off boulder number 3 with it in the bag. So she'll move up to 1st place.
3 boulders, 3 tops.
Yeah, there she go. 3 flashes.
3 flashes.
Doesn't get better than that. So Yanya, she'll be in the final. Some things never change.
Come on, Alexei, yeah.
And Alexei should get a big cheer here. There we go. Job done for him. Number 3. Kit Noguchi, she needs number 2 really. It's seen quite a few tops. 4 tops this boulder's seen.
Yeah, she kind of did the root sitters better.
Yeah,
no?
kind of, yeah. Almost
like
as an afterthought, but
yeah.
Hey, it worked.
Slowly, but it worked, yeah.
And very smooth up to there. Even after years and pretty much a decade at the top end of the World Cups, flexibility still no problem for Akio. Levered nicely onto the volume and gets the top. Okay, let's see where that leaves her. She will have 2 tops. It'll shift her right up the order. I'm pretty sure that'll put her into the top 6 as it stands.
7th for the moment.
7th for the moment, yeah. Just outside her and Fanny Gibert with 2 tops each. Still not completed their rotation. Petra could actually move into 1st place as it stands here, if she can top this boulder. That's where the change in emphasis comes in, because it's about zones, not attempts. She could actually overtake Yanya Garnbrett, albeit temporarily. Either way, a top here will, I haven't done all the maths, but I'm pretty sure guarantee her place in the final. Rei Sugimoto. These slabs proving tricky at the end of the round.
Yeah, really challenging.
You a fan of a slab at the end of the round, or do you like to get them out of the way early on?
Well, when you're really exhausted after 4 boulders, you're quite happy to have a slab as the last boulder. But in Meiringen, I remember we had a slab as first boulder in the qualifiers, and so you're really fresh, you're in control, your head is really fresh, or you're focused. But I think no, it's really cool because it's challenging. You're really exhausted mentally as well, and you have to really keep focused, be smooth, in control on the feet, and otherwise you can easily sleep. So no, I think it's good.
Yeah, slabs aren't always physical, but you've got to bear in mind these climbers have just in very quick succession done a series of World Cup semi-final boulders, and your heart rate's up. You're maybe not moving quite as smoothly, as in control as you were before you were tired. And as you say, there's that mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
So it's certainly an interesting piece of work from the route setters. So Fanny Gibert looked superb on every boulder we've seen her in here in Moscow. Topped both of the first two. Excellent round in the qualifiers. 5th last time in Meiringen, and surely a favourite to make it into the final.
You can see how she's visualizing the boulder before she's climbing it. It's
Yeah.
more and more important right now. With boulders are getting really tricky, and you really want to understand most of the movements before you actually try. So we might see climbers taking more and more time before they actually try the boulder to read it.
So Alex Kazanov, 2 tops for him. A third one here would certainly get him into the final. Tomoe Narasaki still the only man with 3 tops on the men's side. Route setters seem to have done an absolutely perfect job here.
Yeah, great job, yeah.
No one's got 4 tops yet. And 2, maybe 3 is pretty much a place in the final. So Fanny Gibert, she's close. She'll get that move, I think. Gabriele Moroni, you can see him there on men's 3. This was Fanny on the swing move earlier and looked relatively comfortable. Gabriele Moroni, I just mentioned him, gets the job done. Men's 3.
Looking as strong as yesterday.
Yeah, that'll put him, could well put him into first place. It'll certainly put him into second. We'll just wait for the scores to update, confirm the attempts. Not come through just yet. Either way, Gabriele Moroni, I would say, almost certainly in
yeah, he flashed
in the final.
First 2 boulders, and I think here he flashed it as well. So
yeah, so 3 flashes, can't get better than that. Gabriele Moroni, he'll be in the final. Tomoe Narasaki will be as well. Alex Kazanov is the 4th to last climber to finish his rotation.
And he needs a top here.
Yeah.
Or a bonus at least.
So it means our top 2 are safe.
Yeah, he really needs to get the zone. It's all about taking your time on this boulder. You don't want to rush it.
Yeah, they've proved elusive. As I say, these slabs right at the end of the round.
Yeah. And he has like, there is a foothold on the top of the volume there, and you want to have your right foot there.
Yeah, Alex Kazanov currently sitting in 7th place. But if he can get it done, he'll pretty much guarantee himself a place in the final. Interesting to know, I'll try and grab a word with him afterwards, regardless of the result. Be interesting to know how aware he is of the scores.
During the round? I think it's depending on the climber. You can really, I think you can know everything if you really want to. It's depending if you like to know the results while you're climbing, or if you want to be focused on your climbing.
Perfect view looking down on Alex Kazanov. He's got a minute left to claim himself a place in the final. Going from a bit lower down. So hard to keep your hips in. Fanny Gibert has got that jump dialed on women's 3 now. So this next move up to the big flat volume, that one there, it's really the last, it would seem the last hard move on the boulder, and with 30 seconds to go, she's had enough. So Fanny Gibert living dangerously in 6th place, top of the final boulder would sort her out, but
still a slab to go, and Fanny is strong on slabs.
She is, yep. But she's there we go. Fanny just doing that special slow climber walk.
Yeah. And Mio 2 seconds. Go on, no.
Not going to get it done, and sadly Alex Kazanov will miss out. He's 7th place. It's a bit of a heartbreaker for him.
Alexei on the last boulder, and I think he's already in the finals, so
Yeah,
he doesn't really need anything on this boulder.
So interestingly enough, on the men's side, we already have our final.
Yep.
Because the 3 men to still complete their rotation have already secured themselves a place in the provisional top 6. So we talk about how aware the climbers are on the wall.
So only 1 Japanese seems to be.
Yes, Tomoe Narasaki, the sole representative. So yeah, they may or may not know it. The 3 male climbers left, but their places in the final are already secured. Jongwon Chon, Alexei Rubtsov, and Gabriele Moroni will all be in. They haven't finished climbing yet. Still, the order is to be decided though, and it seems like on the internet recently there's been a lot of talk about the order people climb in and hold degradation. Perhaps less important in the final where you've got fewer climbers, but still, the order in which they come out in the final still to be decided. The climbers, of course, coming in reverse order, so if you finish the semi-final in first place, you climb last in the final.
And now when in the finals, when you are behind the wall, you know the results, so if you're climbing last, maybe you have an advantage. So you maybe want to win the semis.
Kinaguchi flying left on women's 3s, looking very in control. And this move up to the big rectangular black volume is the last really tricky one. She just needs to get herself set. As we see Jongwon Chon, top men's 3, so that will move him to first, I suspect. We'll see in a second. Yep. Kinaguchi, happy with that. Job done for her. 3rd top on 3 boulders. She'll move up into 2nd place. She'll be in the final. Janja Garnbret. She's plugging away on women's 4, but she's done enough.
And in the women's, it's all about Fanny and Shauna. They're battling for the final place. If Fanny does the zone in the last boulder, I think she's in the finals, and Shauna is out.
Yeah, it's
gonna be
tight at the top. Shauna, I can't see her from our position, but she must be somewhere out there in the crowd just watching nervously. Top left of your screen, you can see the results coming through, and there you can see Fanny Gibert needs a zone on number 4. Janja Garnbret's got one. Yeah, it's pretty a tricky boulder, this one. Your compatriot Chloe Collier got it done, as did Futaba Ito, but interestingly, neither of them into the final. But this for the clean sweep of boulders for Janja. Not quite the clean sweep of flashes. She got the first 3 done first time. But a few more attempts on number 4, but it looks like she's going to do it. And there it is.
4 tops, nice.
Good day at the office for Janja Garnbret. It is ever thus. She'll be in the final this evening. 6 p.m. we get underway tonight. And as I say, the men's final place is already decided. The final women's one is still up for grabs though. So Alexei Rubtsov climbing only for pride and position in the final. Just under a minute left for him to get number 4 done. I suspect if he doesn't do it, depends how aware he is of the scores, may not have another go. No, he'll have another go. 45 seconds. I suppose it's not burning much energy.
No.
And as you say, it may improve his chances in the final if he can climb in a position that suits him.
He's going for the dynamic right now.
Yeah, I think looked like he was eyeing up the zone. I think he might be going straight there. 25 seconds to go. Yeah, he
and
really,
another one.
Yeah, really wants this.
Yeah.
That was me speculating if he even
I don't think he's
attempted
aware
again.
of his place.
So just to let you know, we do know our male finalists. Jongwon Chon, Gabriele Moroni, Tomoa Narasaki, Gregor Vazonik, fantastic effort from him, climbed first. Jerne Kruder, last week's winner in Meiringen, and Alexei Rubsov. We just saw him battling, but sadly not succeeding on men's 4. So that's your top 6. Alex Kazanov misses out in 7th place. Tricky one. If he was 8th or 9th, he might be quite happy with his result, but when you miss out by so small a margin, a bit tough to stomach. But still, Alex finishes 7th. Keita Watabe 8th. Tomoaki Takata 9th, Rei Sugimoto in 10th, rounding out the top 10. Sean McCall, he was back in his first bouldering semi-final of 2018, ended up down in 16th place. Kokora Fuji, disappointing day for him, he was 17th. So Fanny Gibert.
She needs a zone to be in the finals and to kick out China.
Yeah, it's tight around 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. But yeah, as you say, if Fanny can claim a zone, she is through. Kiyo Noguchi, who will climb last on women's 4, already certain of her place in the final. It's just that final slot that's available in the women's. Gabriele Moroni, this man coming towards our camera now, he'll be climbing this evening. As I say, 6 p.m. Moscow time. Believe that's 5 p.m. Central European, 4 p.m. British.
Yep.
And I wondered then, Gabriele Moroni picked up his chalk bag. I wondered if he was very aware of the score and was heading off, but no, he's going to keep trying. So Fanny Gibert, she'll be in the final. That's the zone.
Yeah.
Like to finish with a top. She'd end up in at least 3rd.
Nice.
So Fanny Gibert, 2nd successive final for her, 5th last week in Meiringen, and she displaces Shauna Cox in the top 6. That's a tough one for Shauna. We mentioned it earlier. Coming back from injury, not on top form. She was 6th last time. She's going to be 7th here. So, both finals decided.
Yep.
Gabriele Moroni trying to provide the crowd with a final bit of entertainment on men's 4. There you can see it, top left of your screen. Janja Garnbret, clean sweep, 4 tops. Fanny Gibert goes through in 2nd as it stands. Could be passed by Kiyo Noguchi, but either way, she'll be there. Solsar, the final finalist. So that is a strong women's final. We haven't really... There was a few names I was really interested to see. Chloe, I thought, had a good shot today. Futaba Ito, the youth climbing sensation, again, I thought really could do something today. And of course...
8th place is really good.
But you'd expect Shauna Coxey to be there, but what a lineup that is. Janja Garnbret, Fanny Gibert, a very informed Fanny Gibert, Kiyo Noguchi, Miho Nanaka won last week in Meiringen, Petra Klingler, the world champion, and Sol Sa of Korea, who interestingly enough made every semi but no final in 2017. She'll be delighted with that result. But yeah, that is a very strong women's final. Missing, however, the overall winner of the last 2 seasons Boulder World Cups, Shauna Coxey. She finishes in 7th place, displaced by Fanny Gibert on the very last boulder. I suspect from chatting to Shauna in Meiringen last week, she won't be as disappointed as she might have been. I think she was pretty happy in Meiringen to make the final, and she knows she's not flying right now.
Yeah, she knows she's back from injury, so I think she had a strong climbing here, and just didn't do the slab here.
Yeah, she's not coming to China in May, so she'll get some training in, all the rehab done, and then we'll see her in Vail and Tokyo. You can see waiting in the wings there, Kiyo Noguchi. Looking absolutely superb on the boulders. I'm trying to think back on my career watching the IFSC, both professionally and just as a fan. I can't really remember having any major dips in form.
Me neither.
But by any measure, in good shape here. So these two climbers, our last two out, Jongwon Chon on men's 4 and Aki Noguchi on women's 4. They're both already sure of their place in the final. I saw them just chatting and smiling then. You wonder how aware they are of it. Jongwon Chon is going to qualify first as it stands. It's a joint first right now with Gabriele Moroni, but a zone here, let alone a top, would see him through in clean first place.
Quite interesting to see that the finalists are quite the same as last week. Only Gabri and Gregor are new finalists, I think. So it didn't really. So it's quite good from to be so regular. It's pretty rare in bouldering.
Yeah, I mean the men's field
to have
extraordinarily strong, as you say. It's 2 finals in a row is no mean feat. Jongwon Chon looking for a hat-trick of overall World Cup wins, 2017 and 2015. The only blip, if you can call it that, 2016, and he still won a couple of World Cups. Incredibly strong. This steep, powerful setting style that we've seen on the first 3 boulders will have suited him down to a T, and you can see it there, 3 flashes he's had so far. Struggling a bit more with number 4. As I say, it's already guaranteed to go through in first place, but if it's a joint first with Gabri Moroni or first out on his own, it's the only thing still to be decided. So men's final will be Jongwon Chon, Gabriele Moroni, Tomoa Narasaki, Gregor Vazonik, Yerne Kruder and Alexei Rubtsov. Alex Kazanov, Keita Watabe, Tomoaki Takata and Rei Sugimoto just missing out. Very, very honourable mention as well for Tilo Schroeter of Norway, 11th place for him, fantastic result. A good semi-final, good boulders,
yeah,
nice spread of tops. No one's got all 4 done yet.
Perfect round.
Excuse me, apart from Yanni Garnbrett. In the men's side, no one in the men's side all 4. Jongwon Chon could change that. Only needs a zone to win the round. So 3 tops was enough to get you in the top 3 on the men's side. And 2 tops, 3 zones, enough to get you into the top 6. Over on the women's side, you needed 2 tops and all 4 zones to make the women's final. Yeah, so nice job from the route setters. This is Aki Noguchi looking to join Yanni Garnbrett as the only woman to have topped all 4 boulders.
It's really interesting how we saw some really early tops on those slabs and then having the last climbers struggling a bit more.
Yeah, Chloe didn't look as if she struggled too much with it.
Yeah.
And then lots of...
Same for the slab in the men's.
Yeah, lots of climbers have.
Gregor, Jonah did them.
Четвертая трасса мужчин.
Sorry if myself and Loic just disappeared there. We had to mute our microphones. Vincent Kose, our technical delegate, just came over and explained that after an appeal, Mihona Naka will be climbing again. It's a semi-final not quite done here. She has already secured her place in the final, Mihona Naka.
Well, now that she has to climb her second boulder again, it's not really sure because she didn't climb the third and the fourth boulder. And now she has to climb her second boulder again because of an appeal. So that means that now the second boulder is not climbed yet, so she has to do it again. Because her start position was wrong, apparently.
So she's been the subject of an appeal, yeah, Miho Nanaka. And she has to climb, I do apologise, we're finding this information out in real time, but she has to climb boulder 2 again, as we understand it.
Because now they're brushing it, so I'm assuming it's that one.
So Miho Nanaka had secured her place in the final.
She had. But if she doesn't do it again, then she will only have one boulder, and that won't be enough. So she really has to reclimb it to the top.
Attempts. Again, we haven't had it explained how long she will have for this attempt.
I don't know when she did a wrong start position, but she won't have 5 minutes normally. She will have, we'll see, a couple of...
Yeah, apologies, we haven't got the full picture here, but what we do know is she'll try number 2 again, and as I say, if she doesn't do it, she's out of the final. Well, we've been saying, the final's confirmed.
So Shauna still has a shot.
Shauna still has a shot.
2 минуты будет дано Мио Нанако, чтобы закончить свою попытку на второй трассе. В связи с техническим инцидентом она закончила свою попытку раньше.
So there we can see the men's results. Jongwon Chon and Gabriele Moroni, 3 tops for them. But the 4th zone from Jongwon Chon just claiming first for him. Rest of the final will be Gabriele Moroni, Tomoe Narasaki, Gregor Vazonik, Yerne Kruder, and Alexei Rubtsov.
My compatriot Nicolas Collin in French is 12th for his first semi-finals, which is really awesome. We hadn't had a Belgian in the semis for a long time, so that was cool.
It takes the pressure off you a little bit. Just to confirm, Vincent, as I mentioned, our technical girl, he's just been over to let us know that Miho will have 2 minutes left to climb the boulder. This was Shauna on boulder 2. That's such a great move.
I think we will see more of this video on social media.
Yeah, it was really nicely done. That was Chloe Collier
on the
top
slab.
Number 4. Yeah, that was when we thought that number 4 might see quite a few tops. Didn't prove to be the case. That was Rei Sugimoto on men's 1.
Miho getting ready to climb again. I think that's mentally hard for her. She knows she can do it, but she just has to do it again. She, I think, probably knows that she has to climb it to be in the finals. So, yeah.
So just to confirm, she got a top on number 1, and she got the zone on 3 and 4. So it doesn't actually matter how many attempts she requires here. She'll make it into the final on tops and zones alone if she tops the boulder, so she can burn through the attempts all she wants. The problem is,
she only has 2 minutes.
Well, she only has 2 minutes, and it's a long, complicated and physical boulder, so it's not like a running jump or a slab where you can just fire through the attempts. You've got to get it done.
She probably has to do it right now.
Yeah, you'd think she'd have probably 2 attempts if she has no rest in the middle, but I'm pretty sure the mindset will be just get it done first time.
But she knows how to do it, so she seems really doing it okay. Come on.
So Miho Nanaka, this would
easy, nice.
Ease the nerves. There it is. Gets it done. So if you just come back and you're wondering why we're still live and why you seem to be experiencing deja vu and watching Miho Nanaka on women's 2 due to a technical infringement with her starting position, she had to redo the boulder. But she's done it. She's back in the final after looking like she might miss out. There is the wall here in Moscow. I mentioned earlier, it's very aesthetic. They've done a lovely job painting it. You really see the angles. And
Moscow's flag, a Russian flag.
Yeah.
Colors.
Fantastic wall. And the route setter's done a nice job. We had chief route setter here in Moscow, Robert Lux, in earlier on in the commentary box. He was saying he likes a nice aesthetic set of boulders, all the same colours on the same boulder. And I have to say, I agree with him. You see it? Yanni Garnbrett, top of the rankings. Said that a few times in the past few years. First place in the semi-final shall climb last in the final, and she'll be joined in that final by Fanny Gibert, Akira Noguchi, Miho Nanaka, Petra Klingler, Shauna Coxey.
That's weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Come back to that one. Solsa and Futaba Ito, Chloe Collier, Ikachi Kadik. I have to say, they are not the results we saw beforehand.
Yeah.
I'm just looking on the internet actually, and they are the results on the internet as well.
Maybe there's been an appeal since we last saw the results.
I've got a message coming through actually from one of our support guys that just says wait. So
Okay,
we'll see. We'll wait.
We'll come back to that later.
So there we go, the semi-final we thought was concluded here in Moscow. We're just getting a message, there's perhaps an appeal coming through for Solsa. I'm afraid I don't know how long that will take, so I think the best option is probably to look at the internet and see as the results come through. As we saw it originally, Solsa pipped Shauna Coxey to a place in the final. The results we're now getting are that Shauna Coxey has pipped Solsa to a place in the final. Something of a mystery. I'm sure it will be concluded soon, but as I say, I'm sorry, I don't have the information live.
Surprise.
Keep an eye on the IFSC website and all the social media. I'm sure within the next 5-10 minutes that will all be resolved. One of them will be in the final. Loic, thank you very much for your company.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm sorry we had to come and kidnap you down the front of the wall, but
no problem.
Always good to get your insights, so thank you for your time. And
I had a good time too.
Yeah, great to see you and enjoy the final.
Thank you.
We'll see you for the final at 6 p.m. In the meantime, we've got the speed climbing at 2:30 p.m. We'll see you later on.